Reverend Father Ejikemeuwa, Ekwu, a Catholic priest from Owerre-Ezukala in Awka local government area of Anambra State, has been declared a servant of God. The event took place at the St. Joseph Cathedral, Ekwu, on the 13th of April 2024. 3 posts later, Reverend Father Innocent Nwafo formally requested the Bishop of Awka, Most Reverend Paulinus Ejikemeuwa, to initiate the process of possible beatification and canonization of Father Ekwu by declaring him a servant of God. Given that Father Ekwu died as a priest of the Catholic Diocese of Awka, the Bishop of Awka is canonically responsible for the entire canonization process. A letter to this effect was forwarded to the Holy See in 2022, requesting for permission to formally initiate the course of beatification and canonization of Father Ekwu. A reply to the letter was given by the prefect of the Vatican Congregation for the Causes of the Saints, which Bishop Ejikemeuwa asked for the public reading before proceeding with the declaration of Father Ekwu as servant of God. You have asked whether on the part of the Holy See there is any obstacle to proceed with the course of beatification and canonization of servant of God, Ejikemeuwa Ekwu, diocesan priest who died in the year 1989. After having studied the matter, I am happy to inform Your Excellency that from the part of the Holy See, there is no obstacle whatsoever to proceed with the course of beatification and canonization, provided the norms to be observed in inquiries made by bishops in the Causes of Saints issued by this congregation on 7th February 1983 are faithfully observed. Bishop Ejikemeuwa then proceeded with the declaration.
By the power of the Holy Spirit, the sanctifier who renews the affairs of the earth, assisted by the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary and all the saints, on behalf of the Holy and Pope Francis, the visible head of the Church, by the authority granted by the Apostolic See, as contained in the decree thus read, and for all, my dear brothers and sisters gathered in this holy divine celebration, I declare Reverend Father
He concluded with the unveiling of portrait of the newest servant of God. Before the end of the Eucharistic celebration, Bishop Ejikemeuwa consulted a diocesan tribunal with the following as members. The tribunal will serve the bishop and the people of the Diocese of Awka with an objective to arrive at the truth and to uphold the justice of the case concerning the life of the servant of God, his virtues, and reputation of holiness. It is important to note that the Church does not make sense, but as bride and body of Christ, declares that some of her children are with God. These saints, according to the book of Hebrews, are a great cloud of witnesses that surround us in our earthly sojourn with their prayers and exemplary life. There are 4 steps to sainthood, respectively associated with the following titles: Servant of God, which demands that a solemn public ceremony be held in the diocese of a candidate for sainthood after a nickel upstart, that means nothing obstruct, is granted by the Vatican. Venerable, a servant of God receives this title when the Vatican declaration of his heroic sanctity is signed by the Pope. Blessed, when a miracle attributed to the servant of God is approved by the Vatican. Saint, when another miracle is approved. Before the course of beatification of a candidate should begin, 5 years must pass from the time of his death. This is to allow emotions following the death to dissipate, in order to pave way for a serene, balanced, and objective evaluation of the person's life and works. A pope, in some cases, may waive the waiting period if there is overwhelming evidence that the person under consideration lived a holy life. For example, Pope John Paul II waived the 5-year period for Mother Teresa of Calcutta, who died in 1997, just as Pope Benedict waived it for Pope John Paul, who died in 2005. Petition for sainthood may be advanced by any member of the people of God or any group of the faithful recognized by church authority. When a request is formally presented, a bishop has a responsibility within the limits of his own diocese and through a postulator he appoints to inquire about the life, virtues, and reputation of sanctity of the candidate in question. In order to be canonized a saint, the church must determine that the individual practiced heroic virtue. This phrase, heroic virtue, was coined by St. Augustine of Hippo to describe the virtues of early Christian martyrs, namely their courageous faith, unwavering hope, and burning love for Christ. Pope Benedict XIV stated that for heroic virtues, virtuous actions are to be exercised with uncommon promptness, ease, with pleasure, and from supernatural motives. To prepare for final vote on cause for sainthood, a relator is appointed by the Vatican to present a summary of the life and virtues of the servant of God, called positio, upon which several voting take place to determine whether the cause should proceed or not. If the vote is affirmative, a recommendation of the candidate's life of heroic virtues is drawn and sent to the Holy Father, who alone has prerogative to issue a decree of heroic life, conferring the servant of God the title Venerable. This is not yet a declaration that the person is in heaven, but that he or she pursued holiness while here on earth. The faithful at this juncture are invited to make intercessions to God through the Venerable for miracles to prove his sanctity. The prayers being granted are seen as proof that the individual is already in heaven and hence able to intercede with God on others' behalf. A miracle is required for beatification. The miracle is usually a healing. The healing has to be instantaneous, permanent, and complete, with no logical medical explanation. Happenings which can be ordinarily explained do not qualify and are therefore discarded. With beatification, a servant of God receives the title Blessed and is given a limited liturgical veneration, such as accorded to our Nigerian-born Blessed Michael Cyprian Iwenitansi on January 20. After beatification, the process of canonization begins when another miracle is required, attributed to the intercession of the Blessed. A pope may sometimes waive the requirement of this second miracle. When the Holy Father consents to the decision of the congregation about miracle, a decree of miracle is published, opening to the final stage of canonization, which elevates a person to the universal veneration of the Church. In case of martyrdom, the candidate is canonized without any need of a miracle, once it is proven that the candidate is murdered for odium fidei or hatred of the faith. The saints show that holiness is possible. Everyone is called to holiness and should strive to become a saint. His Eminence Peter Ebere, Cardinal Opaleke, explained.
The second Vatican Council, Lumen Gentium number 81. Let us teach the faith of the African that the authentic cult of saints does not consist so much in the multiplicity of external acts, but rather in a more intense practice of our Lord, whereby for our own mental good and that of the church, we seek from the saints example in their way of life. We seek from them example in their way of life, fellowship in their communion, and help of their intercession. On the other hand, let the church be taught